So the first what we do is, let's go to your poly modeling shelf. There you have all the 3D objects here. You can click on any of the 3D objects. The moment you click, your object appears on the center of your grid. Always do remember the object usually will appear in the center, at the center of your grid. We call this center of grid as 0, 0, 0, because it is in the x-axis it is 0, in the y it is 0, in the z is 0. So yeah, here. So this is a channel box. Look here, your channel box looks like this. Like to club this along with the editors here. So I just drag and drop it here. You will get a blue line, which means it's been added. Now you can see that this channel box here. You can click it. Okay, here comes your channel box here. Now channel box is here. It's much convenient for me. Okay, we have an object here. So let's see now. When you press your space bar, you can see all the four viewports here. You have your top view, side view, and your front view. Let's. If I move this, you can see X, Y, Z, and everything. And before I go further, I would highly recommend you guys to go through your interface, like know your shortcut keys. Like when you press the space bar, it has to be maximized. When you press the space bar again, it should be minimized. So these things are mandatory. And I'm much convenient with my interface. If you've really gone through my first lectures, you should have by this time got convenient with the interface, such as spacebar to minimize and maximize, and again alt left click to tumble, alt middle click to track and pan, right click to zoom in, F to focus. So all these things you must be convenient now by this time. So now here is a sphere. So let's press the space bar once. You can see that there is a front side and top view, and I just would like to move this object a little bit. I use my alt middle click to drag because the sphere is going out of my screen area. I press alt middle click, I will sphere. Now I would like to move this a little above. So what I do is I can just move this, okay, like this, right? But when I move it, you see that there is a grid here. Grids are just your reference points. So what is this grid actually? The grid is a measuring point where you can measure the object's position and the space it occupies. If to be perfect, I'll just take you to an settings now. So here you can see there is a grid here. This particular grid, you can turn it on and off by any point of time. This is a grid point here. Yeah, you can make that. And there is another option. When you go to your view menu, you will be having a I'm sorry, I think I can get it from display. Yeah, here it is, display grid. You can also turn it on and off. And please remember that once you turn under the display menu grid off, all the viewports will lose its grid. But if you would like to customize only to not have the grid in this window or in this window, press this grid icon here. So once you click it, press the grid icon. Or the grid will be enabled and disabled here. Yeah, and similarly you can find in all the 4 viewports. You can enable and disable all the grids here. Okay, that's how it works. So that's one important thing. And there's one more thing about it. Let's go to display again, the grid. And next to that, you can find some option box here. There will be a small box here. Mostly you will find it in Maya. That these grids will be visible in many of the interfaces. See? Under all the menus you can find this display option boxes. So what is this option box is about? So you go to the grid and there is your option box, just click over it. There you can see length and width, okay, grid lines, subdivisions and those things there. And it seems like how many units we want. It's like how many length we want. The entire grid size here looks like I'm just zooming out by scrolling my mouse wheel. The entire grid here has 12 units, okay. So each one is 12 units and each one has 5 grid lines. So that's how the subdivision is done. In order to know what is the unit here, window, preferences, generators, settings of preferences, and there you can find the preferences there. So go to preferences, it opens a preference window, and yeah, here it is. Under settings you can find working units. So what's the working unit you would like to work in the project is about? Because unit is much more important. When you create some object, you need to know the size of the object. So I recommend you guys to create some 3D models based upon the real units based upon the real model sizes. For example, if we are creating a mobile phone, then how we measure the mobile phone? We measure it in terms of centimeter or meter or foot. That's what matters. So if you're making a water bottle, the water bottle might be of size 1 feet, or if you're making a mobile phone, it will be like 5.5 inches or 6 inches mobile phone. Or if you're making modeling a television, it's like a 60-inch TV. And similarly, if you're making a house, we don't measure the house in centimeters. We measure the house in terms of foot. So foot and meters. So we should say the house should have a 10-foot height. So these measurements are mandatory. So this is how we do it. Similarly, for that purpose, we use these settings here. So I don't prefer centimeters here because it's a smaller number, because mostly I'll be dealing with some big objects. So I prefer, rather than centimeter, I prefer to go with foot would be fine. Yeah, I go with foot. Look at that. The moment I switch to foot, you could see the object become too small. The grid is too big. You see that? I show it now. I now switch to centimeter. See? Yeah, because it's a centimeter. In centimeter, the value is like that. So this sphere is actually, look at that. This one cell is called as 1 square centimeter. Now this sphere occupied 4 square centimeter. That's the size of the sphere. So a 4 square centimeter size of sphere will be how much if we change the setting from centimeter to foot? Yeah, the sphere size won't change. The sphere size will be the same. We have changed only the grid now. Yeah. So if you want the sphere to be 1 feet size, all you have to do is select this one, select the sphere, press R and scale it. Yeah. You see that now? Now this is 1 foot, but not 4 foot. The press W. Either I'm going to move this and this like that. Yeah. So now I'm going to make it similar. It's almost like press F. It's almost like 1 square foot length. So this is how we measure the distance in the 3D. Okay. So this settings is much important when you work with Maya. So you please keep that in mind. Yep. Let me save this file. I will save this file. Let me save this file as class 1. You see that whenever I click my save button or go to save scene as, it will open the same project settings which we already done. So instead of class 1, I would like to name this as class 2.mb. Great. And if you guys remember it properly, it's like if I have to go somewhere, or if my system is crashed, or if my project is wanted by my team lead or someone else, what I would do is I just take this, copy this file, the folder structure, modeling class, not one thing, just copy the entire folder into my pen drive, or I compress it and I mail it to my boss or to the client or to other laptop or system or a backup. So you have to copy the entire folder structure when you want to take the entire Maya file. That's how the system works. Yep. So it's really good thing to go with this file project system. Anyway, we now discussed about this grid. So